if we look at the history of boxing, fights between a Mexican boxer and a Puerto Rican boxer have always delivered. Even fights between fighters of Mexican descent or Puerto Rican descent fighting a Mexican fighter or a Puerto Rican fighter, the rivalry between a Mexican fighter and a Puerto Rican fighter have lived up to the hype. It always delivers. It always delivers a spectacular fight. And, a fight between two big names always entertains. And now we have this fight this weekend. On the 30th of April, Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson will be fighting over at the MGM Grand in Vegas. Valdez of Mexico and Shakur Stevenson of Puerto Rican descent. Yes, believe it or not, Shakur Stevenson is of Puerto Rican descent. I believe it's his dad is who is Puerto Rican. I know Shakur hasn't really been, going out there waving the Puerto Rican flag, but he is of Puerto Rican descent. Most people know him as that kid from Newark, New Jersey, but who knows? Who knows? He might be waving that Puerto Rican flag this weekend. You never know. Well, at least on social media, he made it very clear that he is Boricua. In a recent tweet that he posted up, he said, "Yo soy Boricua, pa que tú lo sepas." My Spanish is not the best, but if you click translate, it'll say right here, "I am Puerto Rican, so that you know." So yeah, he is Puerto Rican. He is Puerto Rican. I think a couple years ago, or sometime within the past few years, I think one of you guys told me that he is of Puerto Rican descent. That his one of his parents was Puerto Rican, and his dad is the one who's Puerto Rican. I think he never really grew up with the Puerto Rican culture. That's why like not many people know that he is of Puerto Rican descent. And it's crazy because look at this guy. This guy right here. This guy somehow was so offended by that comment saying that he's Puerto Rican. Like, him identifying as a Puerto Rican. This guy was like, and I quote, it reads, "The disrespect to the black fan base that's been riding with you since the Olympics and the black family you were raised in is crazy. People will remember the disrespect." And I'm like, how is saying you're Puerto Rican disrespectful? Correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of Puerto Ricans are black. So I just don't understand, man. Like, I don't know how this guy would somehow feel so disrespected by the comment by Shakur identifying as Puerto Rican, because he is half Puerto Rican at least. And apparently that's disrespectful to the black fan base, which in my opinion is not. Like, if you feel offended by this, come on. You need to look yourself in the mirror, and it's not that deep, man. It really isn't. Shakur Stevenson, I'm sure he's a proud black American, and he's probably learning more about where he's from and who his dad is, and maybe one day he will be flying the Puerto Rican flag. It might be this weekend. To my recollection, I can't recall him flying the Puerto Rican flag in his previous fights, but he might do it for this weekend. You never know. But yeah, this fight this weekend is a spectacular fight. I'll definitely be tuning in. I'll be watching on my way home from the Garden. If you guys don't know, I'll be at the Madison Square Garden watching the Taylor versus Serrano fight. Sucks that they scheduled this fight on the same day, but it is what it is. To my understanding, the fights won't have any conflict. It will be shown on different times. So tune into the Zone as well for the Serrano-Taylor fight. By the way, another Puerto Rican will be fighting in that fight. Serrano, support the Boricuas. How do you say it? Boricua? Oh my God. Boricua. Boricua. I think I'm saying it right, right? Um, anyway, I know some people don't really think Shakur Stevenson is Puerto Rican, this or that. They don't really see him as Puerto Rican. But the way I look at it, most people just don't know that he's Puerto Rican. Heck, I didn't know about it until some of you guys told me about it. So, yeah. Anyway, in the end, whether they're Puerto Rican or Mexican, at the end of the day, this is a spectacular fight, and I look forward to it, and can't wait. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and like always, have a great day. All right, thanks.